What?
He's not home right
Oh,
now.
okay.
Okay. Go. No. Okay.
Okay, we're live. How is everybody this evening?
Fantastic. How are you?
Good, good. Tired, very thirsty, tired. Um, Seeing the duality machine in full throttle. Seeing old ways of thinking resurfacing to look at. Even just today at lunch, I was talking to the boys on the way home how the old Chris would have responded in a certain way. The old Chris would have um, felt guilty and wanted to go and um, do something that she no longer is her responsibility, never was her responsibility, but always thought it was. Just seeing it and coming out of it on the other end, where you saw yourself responding, or actually reacting, probably more or less, in that old energy where it presented itself again, and I didn't react. I just smiled and said,
It
"Okay."
doesn't have the same charge now.
It doesn't, and it was beautiful to watch. In the same sense, like the thought came up, like, "Oh, I sh- probably should," and then caught my thought and went, "Oh, no, you shouldn't." It's not your responsibility any longer. Never really was. You made it your responsibility. You made it yours, and it isn't. It's his. And it felt amazing to see that. It meant, wow, just a few short years ago, even a couple months to weeks, you just see yourself in different ways all the time.
You've come a long way, baby.
And it was also where we saw what's going on out there in the big stage today,
Mm-hmm.
and what's going on and why it's going on, to the duality that's playing out on a huge scale of the 3D right now. And we all know what court rulings um, to other things that I've been talking about for the last couple years now, and working through those dualities to where, like you said the other night, you saw it also in that neutrality instead of the
Yeah.
instead of
Yes,
duality.
I would have been on the wagon, bumping my horn and tooting and responding, and this time I'm just like, yeah, no, I'm good.
Yeah, and we see why it's happening and how
Well,
we're not charged.
no. Amanda's minor fall, major lift comes right to mind. As soon as she said it, I was like, oh, that's why I've been listening to that song over and over and over.
Yeah, yeah, is because it was kind of for having you remember exactly what this time's all about,
Yeah,
and
it's
why
really beautiful.
it's playing out perfectly the way it is. Because if you're triggered, if you're charged, this against that, and it perfectly says it, because we were talking about that just a couple weeks ago, and it's just perfectly, yet again, here we are, another big charge, another big opposition, this against that, and to see why it's participating the way it is, and to recognize it for what it is. And it's it's quite amazing because you see it for something that it meant to be, that it's meant to happen. It's meant to charge everybody. It's supposed to rattle their cages. It's supposed to have them see that part of them that's charged, and to see where we still have things left inside of us that are charged, and to look at those, and our little thoughts just help us remind us, okay, what kind of like, oh no, what do I gotta look at, what do I gotta heal, what I gotta, and then when we realize, oh my gosh, this was supposed to be it all along, where we're overreacting in our heads, we're overreacting in our thinking and our reactions, and just to let it flow. And it's going to show us no matter what. Where in the old spiritual paradigm, we had to go hunt, we gotta go find those demons, we gotta find our shadows. And if you just relax, they'll come up naturally. They just come up naturally. What do you guys think?
I definitely agree with you that as we continue down this path and just sit back and observe, we begin to see what patterns we used to have that are no longer present, and we can catch patterns that we had that might be trying to, I don't know, sneak their way in the back door, and you can pick them up and hug them and say, oh, it's okay, and send them packing.
Or not even necessarily send them packing, but to love them back into completion, perhaps.
Right.
Because it's all us. And I realize, like, next month, I know I talked about this before, but it's coming up again. So next month is my high school reunion. And so, so one of my friends reached out. It was his birthday. And I said, happy birthday, da, da, da. And he said, oh, I'll see you next month. I said, aha. I said, well, we could get together before all the festivities because I'm not going to the festivities. He goes, oh, why? I said, I'm just not feeling it. And he said, oh. I go, we can meet for dinner or for lunch or whatever. He goes, yeah, my parents would love to have you over, like the old days. And, like, I think it was 6 years ago we had it because of the whole COVID thing. We didn't have it last year. And so I said, yeah, we'll go over and sit with mom and dad again. And, because we did that 6 years ago. And I said, I just don't want it. And he goes, yeah. He goes, I understand the fakery. I understand the, if people really wanted to be in contact with each other, we still would be. And he goes, I could see like 6 years ago, it was kind of like um, we all needed to be there, whoever was there. I said, yeah, we're always placed wherever we're supposed to be. He goes, we got together, um, we were, and hung out with my parents, and then we went out later and did all that stuff and met up with other friends too. And at that time, I'm such a different person than I am now. But even 4 years before that, I'm a totally different person. And you just see this like the need to be there because it was like the other people were going to be there, and we all wanted to connect. We all wanted to like touch base, but it's like I'm not. I'm only there a little bit. Like I talk to who I want to talk to, or who actually makes an effort on their end as well. We both have to make an effort, and that's what I foresee going forward is the people who make an effort to be in your life. Those are the people that are there to continue on because you're both making a concerted effort to be there in each other's lives, to be in that friendship together, to be in that relationship, whatever the case may be. Where all the seasonal people, it, you grew with them, you learned a lot about yourself with that, but then it's kind of like, okay, thank you for your gifts, and um, I'm gonna go on my way this way, because then everybody could go with you. And that's what I'm
Right.
finding out big time, and how we met years ago, and how far, we've made an effort to be in each other's lives,
Yes.
and all the new people that we're meeting now too is like, the old are fading away and the new are coming in that you are frequency aligned with. You just resonate with each other, and then the old is falling away, but that's okay because that's kind of what happens even with anything, whether it be a belief, a pattern, a way you eat, um, what you choose to submerge yourself or listen to. I mean, it's all based on frequency and where it feels good, where it feels good, and where you're loved and appreciated. And that's going to be major going forward. Is the shoulds, have tos, want, need tos are going to be a thing of the past because we can't align with that any longer.
Right.
Because I know that's what the thought popped up in my head. Oh, we should go with him so he won't be by himself. Like, no, we didn't plan this. This is something he wants to do, and no. And it was, that dialogue you have in your head. You're like, oh my gosh, there was that instinct to do that thought, that pattern, that way. And then my other self came in and said, no, no, we don't need to do that any longer. So ourselves will be talking to ourselves a lot during this time. Just like when when all the duality of today comes through, we have a
Mhm.
we have that choice to say, how are we going to respond in this one? How are we going to
Well,
respond?
with love and compassion,
Yeah,
understanding, and um, I'm playing the role of the observer now, and it feels strangely empowering
yeah.
to
It's
not be triggered by this in one way or the other. It just is, rather than, oh my gosh, this is wrong, or oh my gosh, this is right, or oh my gosh. I can see both sides clearly. I can see both sides have merit. Um, and I know how I feel about the situation personally, but my feelings are my own. They belong to me, and I don't have to justify them to anyone else.
true. That's part of it too. And then you look at it and say, you just know why it's even being played.
Right.
why it's even
Absolutely.
occurring, and why that even exists in
Yep.
this world. Is you see you see it all, and you see what it's there to do. What's any of it is there to do? What's any of this stuff that we found we've seen? What is it? What was it designed to do? It was
To
designed to have us go through the charges, to go through um, the all the feelings and emotions that are associated with it all. To experience all the realms of frequency within that one aspect of duality, of why, because you can swing from both sides of the pendulum, boom boom, and feel all the frequency all in between both. And when I was awakening to, oh my gosh, this is what was orchestrated, was so horrendous. But then you go, oh, that's why it was orchestrated, and that's why it was so horrendous. When you find out that's exactly what they were, that was the plan for all along. It's just like you come out of that that hibernation sleepness thing, and it's just like wow. And then you experience all the emotions, and then after that it's just like okay, I know why it's here now, and I know why it's in our reality, and why everybody has to look at it in some way, shape, or form, and not deal, but um, face yourself within that construct. And we look and we see all the chatter is everywhere. Everything is everywhere, and you had to see it for all the aspects that it was, for everything from COVIDity to the rulings. I mean, it just you have to see every facet of it to understand it, to understand deception, to understand control and using and energy siphoning, to realizing, oh my gosh, that was the whole design of everything. So then you see it and you experience it, and then you just see it, I guess, and
well,
it breaks down the charge because you've been through the whole charge of it all.
yeah, I remember how upset I was about the whole mask mandate and how I called you
Yeah,
and how you soothed me into um, realizing that this was my own creation. I was creating the turmoil in my own self. And now when I think back on that, I think I wonder how I would act today, and I know I would act completely differently about it.
yeah. There's still sometimes I'll see a little kid, a really little kid,
Mm-hmm.
barely enough to walk,
Mm-hmm.
and then have one on, and
Yeah.
it's still I go the or I just can't believe this is still going on.
Yeah.
And then I go, okay, you know why it's still going on? It's because it's still in people's fields. It's still there, and so they're still perpetuating it because it's still real to them. It's still part of what they're told what to do about it.
Yeah, I
And you,
was at the grocery store last night and the cashier had one on. And my first instinct was to tell him, you don't have to wear that. It doesn't do any good. But then I was like, nope, this is his ball game, and just carried on and smiled and had a good chat with him about other things. And
yeah,
because if they're not ready to hear it, they're not going to hear it anyway.
right, right. And we
And
were
it's,
that
and it's
to the
not
first.
like, and it's not our place to interject how we feel about the situation onto them.
Yep, yep.
They have to come to it on their own. You've helped me so much with all of that I've really begun to embody what you've taught me.
Aw, thank you. It's
You're a great help. You are truly a blessing in my life.
oh,
And I truly appreciate you.
well, that's how I feel about you too. I really do. Because there's days that that you just need somebody who gets it. You know.
Yeah. It's hard to not be able to talk to other people who don't understand. So when we have each other, at least we can get together and bounce ideas off from each other,
Yes, yes.
thoughts, feelings, emotions, whatever, and it helps to clear it.
It surely does. It surely does. So the more that we're neutral, the more that what we want to focus on to bring more to us. Um, we were riding around today after we left Erie. I wanted to go try to find one of the properties that is out here. And I've been looking for a couple months now for a new rental. There's nothing. There's nothing at all. So that makes me think, aha, I'm not supposed to have another rental. I'm supposed to have land
Yeah.
because nothing is showing up on the radar, and our lease is up, and every September it renews itself.
Uh-huh.
So that's what makes me think, okay, we're supposed to stay here until we find the land. And so we went on this one road, and we went all the way down one way, and I couldn't see anything at all. And so I'm gonna go probably tomorrow and zoom the other way because this one road just goes on for a long time, and it splits off 79 on either side of it. So I'll have to get out the feelers. But we went to look at one piece of land for what the benefactor has an idea for the CAC, right? And so we were looking to scope out land, like asked to do. So we did, and it's surrounded by a golf course, a pool of the Legion, and the library dab smack in the middle of it. And the way the land is so weird, and how it wraps around the library and a realtor's office. And I'm going, that how is that gonna work? Because there's just like this, I don't know, maybe it looked like maybe a couple 100 feet on the other side of the library and the realtor, and then on the other side is a bunch of grass, and then it goes back to it hits to where the golf course is. I'm like, well, I don't think that's going to be very conducive to have a big CAC with everything there if there's a huge golf course there. Um, so then it made me think, okay, well, there's another piece of land that's been out there for a while, and it's like most of it is all barren. Like there's some trees in the front part, but in the back part it looks like it's already just nothing. Like you could just build right on it. And it's across the street from one of the nurseries that we have here in town. I'm like, well, that would be kind of cool to have it across the street from a nursery, and they could come over and teach classes to things like that. So, and to drive through and say, well, these apartments here, that'd be kind of cool to make them into condominiums. Um, to look at all these farmers, how cool it would be, to have them not have to worry about things, and
Yeah.
so I go and just start to scout out things and to focus on things. I showed you that preliminary plan,
Mm-hmm.
and we're kind of free on how we want to see it. They just say, use your creative ways and just create. And so it's really free on what, there's no real expectations except for just create something awesome and we'll help you along the way. When you have that beautiful divine benefactor to help out with that, it's going to be amazing. And to think of different things that are needed, to bring like a little notebook with us as we go out in the community or to any community and just start to be mindful and observant of what would actually help the community and the society at large.
Definitely. Well, hello. Yeah.
So, so it's an exciting
I
time. Pardon?
I just got slobbered on.
Babies. Oh yeah.
Yep.
So my beautiful cherubs yesterday decided to go to the mall with their friend. As you
Cherubs
know,
of Justice.
yeah, you cherubs of justice. So
Cherubs of Justice.
my beautiful sons decided to go to the mall with Dakota, my other hat like son, and
Yep.
they looked at dogs at the pet store.
Oh boy.
Says me a movie like FaceTime
Uh
of a
huh.
beautiful baby doggy. And I went,
Mm-hmm.
aw. And of course, the dog's head turned as soon as I said that. And I went, oh. And so the the, the seed has been planted a while ago that Emmett is coming back, our old dog Emmett.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, well, this isn't Emmett, first of all. And second of all, there's so many dogs at the shelters and such to go and do that instead of buying a dog for, what was it, Brady? $3,000?
$3,900.
Yeah.
Gray dog.
And it was for what was it? What kind of breed was it again? It was for a Sheltie.
Okay.
What?
Was it a Australian
No,
Shepherd?
it was a mini Australian Shepherd.
A
My
video.
God, was it adorable?
Well, you're adorable. Not
Very.
$3,000.
No, no, not indeed. And we got, when my dad passed, my sister and her boyfriend at the time, Fathead, went to the mall and saw this cute little black and white rat terrier. And of course, fell in love with Beater. We went up to see Beater, and he was just like a Mexican jumping bean, jumping all around, and he was just crazy. And that he had a lot of health problems. He had like a hiatal hernia, so the puppy mill.
Mm-hmm.
He was from
Yep.
Titusville. So then my mom just wants to give Peter a friend. Back up to the mall because there was another, like, I think it was like a year later, there was a female from Missouri, Tabby, or Tabitha, little tabby toes, and so she came home because they're both two rat terriers. But they yet again she had the operation for the hernia. Um, and Beater always had issues like he couldn't eat something too fast or he'd throw it all up again. So, there's always something because there was a puppy mill dog, they didn't care about their dogs. Um,
No.
so, so when they're showing me, of course, the pictures of or the movie of all the dogs and such, and I'm on the other side, and I know I am on uh, video chat and they can hear me. So I say very out loud, Um, I love these dogs, but I will not get a puppy mill dog because puppy mill dogs are just bred. I'm just going on a big spiel. Like, I will not get a puppy mill dog. Well, someday we'd like to go in and save all those puppy mill dogs. Yes. And
Right.
have a big, huge ranch full of dogs because we don't, because especially the one here in Erie is been they've actually been on the news for for this, and but why are they still in business?
Right.
You know, and I'm like, well, people are still buying dogs from here when
Right.
they're puppy mill dogs,
Yep.
and it's us. If we took that money away from them, just like we are with Operation
Yep.
Tomahawk,
Mm-hmm.
they would be allowed to buy these dogs, and then the puppy mills would shut down. But
We have to take our energy away from it.
right, and so that made
Uh,
me be aware of that last night. Was there's still people that are going to the mall that are buying these dogs,
and taking them
and
home, and there's all kinds of health problems with them.
yeah,
And then
and
they wind up in shelters because there's too many health problems.
yep, yep, and so it's just one big cycle, and people are still doing, still are still contributing to this portion of what's happening. Just like,
Mm-hmm.
human trafficking, just like you name it, any kind of issue, there's still people that are choosing every day to participate in this.
Yep.
And the good people with the good hearts are still participating in this. And that's why we go on these podcasts. If we talk to one or two people and they hear, oh, I didn't know that was a puppy mill place, or oh, I didn't realize that me fighting this is still giving this attention in a fight because you're fighting this or you're fighting that, you're still giving that same energy out that if you were just on the other side of it. So you're both boom, 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 and you're fighting each other with this energy. Um, to become aware of it, if just one person, moment after moment, starts becoming aware of the energy they're giving, this whole world could change in a split second.
Mm-hmm.
And um, it's just even down to the puppy mills, to um, because we're choosing not to. It was brought up in our reality to say this is still an issue. Yes. What are we going to choose to do? Are we going to choose to support this? No. Are we going to fight it? No. What are we going to
No.
choose to do? We're going to choose something that is going to be not even putting our energy into it. Us talking about
Right.
it, airing it out, airing that energy out, boom, it's transmuted. We through our energy fields, and
Which has a ripple effect.
It does.
Did you listen to Mandy this morning?
No.
It was so good. She's so sweet. Oh my
I
God.
do. I love her.
I
I
want to wrap my arms around
do.
her and give her one heck of a hug.
Yes, she is a beautiful, beautiful soul. And I'm sure it's probably stuff that we're talking about now because it's usually pretty aligned with that. Um,
Yeah, she
because,
was talking about our energy. I heard this years ago, and it's made such sense. Energy flows where attention goes.
yeah,
So when you remove your attention from something that you don't want in your reality, you are taking your energy away from it, and it can no longer flow into your life.
yeah, yeah,
So every time someone is bemoaning a situation, I will just stop and look at them and say, energy goes where thought flows.
yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Um, and I know that even with what we're doing on with Operation Tomahawk, I know that sometimes in the wanting for it to go smoothly and flowing, and when things don't align, there's a lot of frustration that's flying around right now because it's the end of the month,
Uh,
and people get
uh,
nervous, and
uh,
people get
uh,
concerned, and I said, there's nothing really you can do to change how other people choose to
I've had
do.
I've had such a different experience with this one because I'm not driven
Yeah,
to to the numbers will get there when they get there, and everything will flow
yep,
into what needs to. And I'm just literally, if nothing's happening today, this week, next week, okay.
yeah,
I mean, for the first month and a half, what did I do? I just sat there and waited.
yep,
And it wasn't because I wasn't trying, because I was talking to people, but I wasn't going to, I'm not in there trying to shoehorn it
yes,
to
yes,
fit into the box that I want it to fit into. I'm just, it'll happen when it happens the way it's supposed to
yes,
happen.
precisely, precisely.
But I
And
have a different feeling about this one being exactly what I've absolutely been looking for all along, and I'm finally where I'm supposed to be.
yes,
So it'll happen when it happens. Holy smokes, it is flat out pouring.
oh, I wish it was here. I it I saw them seeding a couple days ago of them trapping the heat in because it's very humid and just muggy and just it's very straggly here, and not a lot of rain, which we need so desperately.
Are you guys in a drought?
It was flooding for a while because that's what has been going on. It's like flooding and then drought
Mm-hmm.
and flooding and then drought because it's
Yeah.
so dry, and then boom, tons of rain and then nothing for a week. And it was just
Well, I've been trying to push the jet stream back up into Canada because
like,
it's been cold and damp and chilly and rainy here. And
yeah.
I'm like, okay, this is not supposed to be at this time of year. You need to go back where you belong.
Yeah, but they're this is planned seeding, and so us being the magical creatures that we are, we can talk and dissolve and um, intentionalize ourselves. So, as you know, that's how it works. So that's what we need to do, and I am exhausted.
I am tired myself, but it's been that way for several days. So
Yes, it has. Yes, it has. And I looked at the Schumann resonance, and the peak amplitude was 80 out of 100. Um, and then now it shows a beautiful black line, which means another jump um,
hmm
in realities. And I felt that sitting on the couch with Brady. It's just like, woo, woo.
oh yeah.
And
Hi, Mom.
hi, buddy. How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. I just wanted to tell you that Brady's going to be going outside to cause some havoc against the kids with Nerf
Oh, it's
guns.
Nerf. It's Nerf for nothing. Oh my gosh. So,
So he won't be,
okay.
like,
Are you going out
responding.
too?
Yeah, I want to say I'll unfold.
Okay. Oh, you're not participating.
No, I was, but I'm sweating so bad.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Love you.
I love you too.
So it's just you and me, huh?
It is. So it's cute because we have these little kids next door now, and they're always knocking on our door, ringing the doorbell, asking if the boys
hmm
could come out. And as I told you about David when we were at our old house, he was kind of like what Brady and Ben are to these kids, just like the big kid that will go out and play, who will pay attention to them, who will listen to them, who will hang out with them, and um, so they are. I always tell them, I go, you guys are the Davids of this block, because all these little kids come here. Oh, can Ben and Brady come out and play? And that's what they used to do with David next door. David was, not significantly older, but like maybe 6 or 7 years older than they were. And it was the whole David. And so they are the same to these kids, which was really cool to watch that happen. Was
Yeah.
that my boys are doing the same thing that David did with them. Um, and then Brady's boss, he, of course, it's summertime, so sometimes he has to bring his son in to work with him. And so they're devising a Nerf war for tomorrow. Brady
Oh,
works in an outdoorsman shop with all these guns around and, fishing licenses, whatever the case may be. And what are they going to do tomorrow morning? Nerf war. So they're just going to, and there's the same thing. All these big kids, you know, men really, Ben's almost, God, he's 17 and a half. I just can't get over that either. And all of these, they'll just go and play. And little Alex is like 9 or so. And they're like, all right, let's do this. And so they're getting all their Nerf guns ready to go and play. And I just love that they do that. Because I remember even when my boys were young, getting out the Nerf guns and playing with them too. And going outside and hiding behind bushes and trees, and um, whether it's a Nerf war or hide and seek or whatever the case may be, just playing with them, just enjoying being a kid and just running around being silly. And as with your grandkids, a new sense of we're just gonna play. Because as parents we have to be the parental people, but then there's times where I allowed myself to play. I played the Play-Doh. I did the dancing. I did and I still do. Um, art, you name it, we did it. A real hands-on mom. because I knew that I wanted to give that experience to my kids because I didn't have that. And it was always, my friends and I, or my sister and I, we did a lot of that on our own. So I know that, like we talked about, sometimes overcompensating because of what we grew up with, we wanted to provide our children with something totally opposite. And sometimes we went way the opposite end of the scale because we didn't want to have our kids experience what we did.
Right?
Yeah, and so there's times I'll still don a Nerf gun. There's times
Sure.
where we did
Gotta let the inner child out to play.
yeah, we'll go out and do things. It's fun. It's fun. And
Sure it is.
and the other day, the kids next door came over. Their mom was working, and so the oldest was there watching his younger brother. And they came over, and it was baking with Chris. And I helped them make some chocolate chip cookies. I taught them how to do it step by step. And then I also I taught them about pH levels. I taught them about real baking soda versus the fake baking soda, the chemically made
Oh,
baking soda. I mean,
wow.
just like little things that I'm like, oh my gosh, this could be. I mean, that's just major lessons right there, learning what real baking soda was and what the chemically made baking soda, what that you would put in a chocolate chip cookie. To why organic and not the regular kind, and those having those talks, talking about pH level and what it can do to water with real baking soda, and they're just like whoa, and it's like oh, this is awesome. This is
Yes.
it's just so simple, everyday things, and they're always like, well, why do you have so many flowers? I go, well, because the bees and because of the butterflies and the birds. And I said, all of them come here. They go, we know your whole entire place is full of bees and, and butterflies and birds. I said, and that helps them eat, hide, rest, drink water, hummingbirds, whatever you need to, and they're just like, well, I said, well, they go from flower to flower to flower. I said, it helps the flowers have more flowers. And well, then it helps the fruit. And it helps the berries. And it helps this and that vegetables. And they're like, oh, I said, so it all works together. And they were out there helping me do that. And little Zion came over with this tiny little birdhouse and said, I made this, but I want you to have it for the birds. Oh. And so I hung it up outside on one of my hooks, and it's really cool watching them care about this stuff because there's this one I call her the sinister sister. She has this streak to her where she causes lots of turmoil wherever she goes, and she'll say one thing to your face and do something else. And I caught her chasing the ducks away, tormenting them all the way down the street. Um, just this, like you just see, if I'm not going to get the attention I want, I'm going to cause massive havoc and spread lies and just try to get her mom in trouble with child protective services because she was pissed at her mom.
Mm.
So it's quite the. It was like the kids I used to work with at the homes I used to work at, and
Hmm.
just that love. You could look in the eyes, and it's just dead.
Oh, they can be very vindictive because my
Yeah,
daughter,
yeah,
The same one.
Yep.
Yeah.
And you can see it in their eyes. It's like this deadness, and you know, yeah,
Wow. It's
just
just pouring up here.
yeah, you're breaking up. So I thought maybe we could end early tonight because we have to prepare for our 9 o'clock.
Okay.
And I appreciate you coming on as always. And
I appreciate the invite.
I just love being able to talk about things with you as always, and what we all experience, and especially going forward. It's exciting times. It's gonna be crazy, but it's gonna be
Yep.
exciting at the same time. I guess
And we'll
there's
sail through it beautifully.
yes, and I guess there is major truth bombs. Well, not truth bombs, but more codes that were dropped with Mr. T last night, I guess.
Well, yeah, I heard about that. I don't know
So I don't know
all of
either
them.
because I was like, I'm not gonna watch it because I'm kind of done with that too. It's just
Yeah.
like it's like
But I listened to Amel Perez today again give another interview, and
yeah,
oh, the man just, I'm telling you, it's amazing the wealth of information. And the thing is when he says it, I'll be like, I already knew that.
yeah. It's like
I
it's
already knew
so detailed. It's very detailed, but it
Yeah,
resonates. It
but I
resonates.
already knew it. He's saying things, and I'm like, that's exactly what I thought.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And so it's
And so you
just
gotta wonder, where's that information coming from? Well, no, not really. I know where it's coming from. It's coming from my higher self, but
it's the
there's that resonance factor.
yeah. It is the quantum soup. It's out there. Everything's out there. It's what we
Yep.
It's the frequency that we have in our hearts that resonates. Ding-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling, ding-a-ling-a-ling.
Well, I am forever grateful that my higher self brought him into my little sphere, because nothing he says sounds surprising. It's more like, oh yeah, I already knew that. Oh, I
Yeah.
get that in spades.
I think it's you helping you remind you of what you already know.
Yeah.
And so it's just like, ah, I, yay. And it's just like a validation cycle for you. Like, yeah, I did know this. I did know this. And you know, it's what your soul wants
I
your
I
head to know.
right. I have cut down on what I watch
Yeah.
and who I listen to. So when I first heard about him, I'm like, yeah, well, all right, I'll give it a little bit of a listen, but if I don't like it, I'm out of there. And as soon as he started speaking, I was like, oh yeah, oh yeah. So
Yep.
now when he pops up on my YouTube feed, I'm going to listen to what he's got to say, because yeah.
Yeah. This is what you need right now. Or this is what you need to bathe yourself in, because it's not bad stuff that he's talking about. No, it's good stuff, but it is. It's what you. It's kind of like you need to say to yourself, "See, you were right all along, my dear."
It is definitely helping to raise my frequency, because
To trust your
the intuition,
it's teaching
it's
you to
trusting
trust.
yes, trust your intuition. That's what I was just going to
Yeah,
say.
it's helping
Stop
you.
that.
I'm sorry. I know, like Maria say today. She goes, I said you need to breathe. She goes, how do you do that? I said, I don't know. I'm just connected to you, so I know. Just breathe.
Yeah,
I said that's what we're all connected into each other.
yeah. I
So
really like her too. So,
yeah, she's a sweetheart. She really is, and she's got a beautiful heart.
yep, I can feel that.
So
And
on
she's a
that
little
note,
of information.
yes, and we'll have to go up to New York City and visit her. It's only seven.
Absolutely.
I told her when I said today, I was like, oh, I'm only 7.5 hours away. So she was okay, yay, come on. It was her and her aunt were going off on the Sunday extravaganza. Only 7.5 hours. Zoom. I mean, we could do
Yeah.
that standing on our heads
Easily. I drove 24 hours
easily.
straight a couple times last
Easily.
year. So.
Easily, we could do that.
Yep.
And
I could probably do that with one stop to pee, and that was
I
it.
know, right? With that. But, especially we're drinking a lot of water lately. But, yeah, I know. Thinking about that, like driving from here to my sister's house back when she lived in Easton and New York City and Queens and all that, I'm like, I thought that was long. I'm like, shit. What we did
Yeah, ain't nothing.
ain't nothing. Just like we'll do it when
Nope.
we go to Dallas. Woo-hoo. So,
You realize I drove to Florida and back 3 times
I
last
know.
year.
That's nuts. But it's good. You needed that.
2 of those 3 times, I drove 24 hours straight through, all the way through.
Yeah.
So,
It's your powerhouse. So, yeah, we'll just get ready for our trip in November, hopefully.
yeah, that's going to be amazing.
Yeah, I want to go to the coast though, too, the Gulf Coast, like
Okay.
Galveston, because we'll be down that
All
way.
about it. Girl, I'm down.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, go to the coast, twist
I'm
my
going to
arm.
tell you what,
Okay.
your butt's driving in Dallas, because I can't.
Okay. Yeah, I'll have to.
Did that once, oh, hell no.
I'll channel my my New York City driving. My boys say I change. It's like
Girl,
I change.
Dallas is worse than New York City. They're M and effing nuts out there.
Well, I know my friend Danny lives out there, and he he goes, the Beltway. I go, yeah. He goes, it's like people are zooming through the Beltway when there's no traffic. He goes, but that's how people drive. It's like the Indy 500 there, and he did. He said it was just like
And stupid GPS tells you, get in this lane, so you're in this lane, and all of a sudden you could be
get
all
it that
in
way.
front. And wait a minute, we can't get over there. And we left the hotel. It was a 15-minute drive to Walmart. It took us about 35 minutes to get to where it took us almost 2 hours to get back to that hotel.
Yeah, I can't remember where I was with my mom and the boys. It was the same thing. And it was just like everybody was going Mach speed, and then you had to change over here, and then there was detours, and there's this and that, and this and that. Oh, yeah, so somehow we'll get there. We always do.
Yes, all
I mean,
roads lead to where you're trying to go. I know, but I ain't doing it. You're doing it. I ain't doing it.
yeah, because I remember we made it through Chicago.
We did. White knuckled the whole way. Missed that bloody exit was closed, and I was having a hyperventilation fit.
I know, we made it through Chicago, and we first way through in the middle of the night, which that was sketchy. And then the next time in like almost right after it was still somehow rush hour at 9 o'clock, 11 o'clock at night. You're like, how the hell does that happen? But yeah, it's. Whew. I don't know. Maybe we'll fly. Hopefully, maybe everything will be done. We could just fly. I don't know. But I guess I still don't know. We'll have to maybe find a pilot.
Well, if we fly, then we're still going to have to rent a car.
Yeah, that's true.
We
I don't know.
Dallas.
We'll see. Maybe we'll make Maria drive there.
Sounds like a plan. Oh, you do it, Maria. We ain't doing it.
Yeah, I know. We'll have to see.
With as much as I've drove cross countries and everything across the country and down the east, maybe I could do it now. But man, back then I was like, oh, you got to be kidding me.
We could do it. We made it through.
Siri's like, get into the third lane to the left. Okay, we're in the third lane. You got to be all the way to take this exit on. Are you kidding me? I'm yelling at the damn phone.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
Oh, I know. It's gonna be funny. And I want to rent a car. I don't want to take my own. I want to rent a car because then anything happens, rent a car.
Now, I'm not worried about anything happening because I know my driving.
I know my driving. I'm just saying, like, I don't know. It's just showing me take a rental this time.
That sounds like a plan.
So, all right, my dear. Well, I'll talk to you in a little less than an hour.
Okay, sweetheart. Love you. Bye.
Love you. Bye bye.